Now we look at dichotomy and false or questionable dichotomy, what S refers to as dualism, and inclusive and exclusive or. You can read about this on pages 139 through 142 and 206 and 207 of the textbook. So a dichotomy is something, is a statement that gives the option of one thing or another. It puts things at odds. This is what S refers to as dualism here. You say one thing or the other. And when doing this, we use the conjunction or. And there are two primary uses of the conjunction or, the inclusive or and the exclusive or. And this stuff's important to make very clear what we're saying, because if you're using or in two different ways, it's necessary to determine if you're using it inclusively or exclusively to know for certain what your argument means. Inclusive or is synonymous with and or. When we and/or in writing denotes an inclusive or. So when you say and or, that's an inclusive or. So unlicensed file downloading is right or wrong. If that's an inclusive or, then it means it might be okay in some instances to download unlicensed music, but in others it might not be okay. An exclusive or says that it gives you a choice of two things and says it's one but not the other. So, and a lot of times this is a way to indicate this is to use either at the beginning. So either unlicensed file downloading is right or wrong, but it can't be both under any circumstances. So it's either right or it's wrong, but it can't be both. A false dichotomy is an incorrect use of exclusive or. So let's look at an example. Either unlicensed file downloading is stealing or unlicensed file downloading is okay. This is a false dichotomy. Why is that the case? Well, it may be unlicensed file downloading may be stealing, or it may not be stealing, sorry. Unlicensed file downloading may not be stealing, but it still might be wrong. So it may not be synonymous with, again, taking property from someone, but it may still be wrong. Or it might be stealing, but it still might be okay in some instances. And this is why analysis is so important, because when you hear someone say it might be stealing or it might, but it still might be okay, you think, isn't stealing always wrong? Well, this is what ethics is about. It's about asking tough questions about stuff like this. It seems like we always think of stealing as wrong, but we look at strange cases that tend to indicate that that's not set in stone. So, you know, for example, was it wrong to steal the Nazis' encryption typewriter that they used to decipher and code encrypted messages? This happened. The Allies stole the Nazi encryption typewriter so that they could learn how they were coding their encrypted letters. You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I would say it's perfectly fine, not only fine, but a good thing that the Allies stole the Nazi encryption typewriter. So, you know, that would be a situation where it seems like stealing is okay. But that's a digression. I'll move on. This concludes the critical thought and analysis portion of the lecture.